Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shawn Ryan Show. This week is a fascinating episode. We talk about two different topics and then we tie them in. First topic is all about human consciousness. Second topic is all about artificial intelligence. And why we're covering these two topics, we're tying them together because we are talking about how artificial intelligence is going to manipulate the entire human population through the algorithm of human emotion. Pretty fascinating stuff and scary. There's good news at the end of this, though, so, some of these can get kind of heavy. On another note, we have noticed a lot of you are repurposing our content, creating your own content from these episodes. We love it. We thought we'd make it super easy on you. So if you go below in the description, we have a folder down below that has all kinds of raw reels that we've cut for you guys. So you can take them, create whatever you want with it. All we ask is that you tag Shawn Ryan Show in your content. You can monetize it, make money off it, whatever you want to do. Just link back to the show. And guess what? If we like it, we'll repost it on our own social media channels. So there's that. Once again, that link's below. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. Tell us how we're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Shawn Webb from the Monroe Institute to the Shawn Ryan Show. Shawn Webb, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure
Shawn
to be
Webb,
here.
welcome to the Shawn Ryan Show.
I know, right?
First Shawn I've interviewed.
That's cool.
So, but man, we've been going back and forth for, we first had contact back in 2020, I believe.
Yeah.
And we've been going back and forth for a while. And man, we had a very fascinating phone conversation. And last night, you just blew my mind at dinner. And man, I've been looking forward to this interview. I'm really excited to talk to you about all this stuff. Human consciousness, the Monroe Institute,
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hell of an episode.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It kind of blew my mind when we were talking a few weeks ago about like something else. And you're like, what's going on with your work? And, and we talked about how my mind stuff was bleeding into artificial emotional intelligence. And then all of a sudden, like a week ago, all these headlines came out, like Elon Musk stopping his schedule to go fly to Congress to implore them to pause or put regulations on AI development. And the heads of state and AI development, like the head tech people, are all like, maybe we need to put a pause on this for a little while. And then like a few days ago, the top Google engineer for AI resigned in fear. And that's like not hyperbole, that's like the headline. Like he admits that he left Google because of the fear of what he helped create, and that he wants to get away from Google and start talking about the dangers of AI, and that he regrets working on it for the last 10 years. It's like, holy shit, we need to talk about this.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's very concerning. I don't even have I have a small fraction of how this is going to affect us, but
Yeah.
I think that this makes humans completely irrelevant in a lot of different sectors in today.
Well, it's certainly going to affect everybody listening to this, like everyone who is in earshot of this conversation is going to be affected by it. But the good news is there's a way that we can talk about it and have everybody understand what's going on here. And we can explain it from the very simplistic nature of what AI is all about. And we'll take all the uncertainty out of the fear. There's certainly some things that we need to be concerned about moving into the future. But we can explain it like within the guise of this show. Everybody will have an amazing understanding of where this is going, why people are concerned about it, what we can do about it to protect ourselves as individuals and human beings from the effects that this stuff may have on us in the future, and maybe a way out to make sure that, you know, an artificial general intelligence doesn't take over the show and start running the world and we'll never have control again. Because there's a small potential for that to actually occur. That's not science fiction. That's like...
Is that really small?
Well,
I feel like it's a lot more imminent than...
Everybody's freaking out about it, but I think, like, I've been in this space, like, I've been talking about the dangers of where we're going for, like, the last 10 years. And now, Yuval Harari, who's one of those guys up there who has the credibility and all that stuff, is starting to say the same thing as that I've been saying for a long time. And we're getting to the point where everybody's starting to understand and get their mind wrapped around where this is going to go, how fast it's going to go, what the particular dangers are of artificial intelligence to influence human behavior, which is the real danger. Because when it comes down to it, our minds are very hackable. And I'll explain a little bit of that so that people can, like, you know, everybody be like, my mind's not hackable. It absolutely is. Like, everyone can be influenced. And a computer system and artificial intelligence is on the cusp of figuring out how to do that. And that's what we need to protect ourselves against, because at that point, you're talking about the ability of an artificial intelligence being able to use simulated, like, you know, real fake videos and real fake audio to simulate that they're a human being and sign you up for, you know, a special task force or whatever it is, start depositing money in your bank so that you think you're working for the good guys. And all of a sudden you're working for an artificial intelligence that's arming you, equipping you, funding you, and it has an army, a human army to defend its artificial intelligence goals. That's where we're at.
Wow. That scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, and it's no bullshit. I will explain from soup to nuts, like hopefully in this episode, how, first of all, the human mind can be hacked, which is a cool thing because then everybody will be able to hack their own minds, which is awesome. There's a cool, really awesome side effect to be able to take that and then make your life amazing from it. But then from there, it's a really short leap to say, okay, so here's how you can do it. But then here's how an artificial intelligence is going to identify those same patterns and be able to do it if you're not up to speed on how to hack your own mind. It'll be doing it for you.
I mean, you don't have to answer this yet because I know we're going to go into it in the episode, but you had brought up for all the people that, oh, my mind can't be hacked. I mean, there's probably at least 50% of the people listening right now are saying that in their own head.
Yeah.
And
wait till the first half of the show.
To me, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is for those people that are like, oh, I'm unhackable. Every time you experience a strong emotion, such as anger, jealousy, all these things, would you say that, I mean, I feel like that's your mind being hacked?
Yeah,
You're
to a
being
point.
influenced.
I mean, human emotions are the primary driving mechanism for us to take action. I mean, from a certain standpoint, you know, you can break down the physiology and the process within your mind and lay it all out on a piece of paper, and you can actually draw it, and you can draw the custom variables that make you an individual compared to all the other 800 billion people on the planet. But there's a process that is static within the physiology of a human that takes that custom information but runs it through the same exact process that everybody else uses. Now, if you start to identify what things are on this self map, we'll talk about it, but what those things are for an individual, then the other side of the equation is your perception and appraisal of what's going on in your mind and what you think about it, how you feel about it, et cetera. But that results in your emotional output. And so if you can put perceptions, false or otherwise or targeted, into a person's perception where you know what they care about and how they're going to react to things, you can put information in there that results in an emotional reaction that will drive them into action potentially at a particular time window, to a particular location, with a particular emotional mix, and all of a sudden you're communicating and controlling human beings either individually or en masse, based on like, they could send information to you to get you to a certain location. They could send me different information that's pertinent to me that'll get me to the same location. Then all of a sudden you got a drone strike or you're being arrested or whatever it is. And it used custom information based on you and I are as individuals, but it got us to the same location or to the same action or the same end result, right? Like we're selling a stock or buying a stock or, liquidating all of our funds or, going to a certain location or taking a certain action. That's what we're talking about here, is the ability to influence people on a scale of up to, the number of cell phones on the planet where you can literally deliver information to a person's pocket in their face at a granularity of understanding what each individual needs to see, hear, feel to get them to take the action that you want them to take on an automated basis, 24/7, 365, no need for lunch breaks, and no need for pay.
This is fascinating stuff. Let me give you a proper introduction before we dive in too deep, because
Sure.
I'm dying to dig in. So, Shawn Webb, you're a U.S. Navy veteran. What did you do in the Navy? Were you in the intelligence?
No, I was kind of. I was tertiary. I was working with surveillance technologies and stuff that's still classified, but I was kind of a tech geek.
Okay, we won't go into that. You're an expert on the human mind and human emotion. You started your civilian career as a systems engineer in supercomputing. You built a career in high tech. You had a startup at the Advanced Technologies Development Center at Georgia Tech. You are now a speaker. You've spoken to some very powerful pioneers in a lot of different spaces, one of which I believe, did you say they won the Nobel Peace Prize last year?
Well, I've had conversations with those folks. I've had multiple conversations with 2 Nobel winners, but I didn't officially present formally in front of them. But there's some stuff that I put out there that they're really interested in talking about.
You have some very important people that are paying very close attention to you. And that says a lot in itself. You're also an author. You've written a few books, one coming out soon. What is that book titled?
It's going to be The Human Mind Owner's Manual.
When is that coming out?
Man, I'm hoping by the end of this year. It's like regular life keeps getting in the way of me finishing this thing. But I'm hoping by the end of the year.
You're an official ambassador to the Monroe Institute. For those of you that do not know what the Monroe Institute is, I'm going to totally butcher this, but I will say this. The Central Intelligence Agency and the Monroe Institute have done a multitude of studies together on remote viewing.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into a little bit more about the Monroe Institute?
Yeah, sure. I think it's the most premier research center for consciousness expansion on the East Coast of the United States, most definitely. It's a place where, like you said, the history behind it was they sent the early remote viewers for the CIA and other military intelligence to that location to be able to utilize technology that assisted them in making better target viewings and also faster recoveries. And so for a number of years, that was the place where remote viewers got trained for CIA and other military applications for the U.S. government. And that was classified for the longest time. You couldn't even talk about it. And still to this day, they'll deny that they use remote viewers. But, the writing's on the wall of, Lou Elizondo has admitted he was connected with remote viewing. And, he's brand new on the scene of, running ATIP and for the Pentagon, the UFO stuff. Like, he was one of those guys. It's like, well, you guys are denying that this existed, yet here's another guy who's in the mix.
Aren't the studies are released, though?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that got released, and they put out a documentary about remote viewing that was called Third Eye Spies, and that was with Russell Targ, who partnered with Hal Puthoff to put that whole program together for the government, to put some science behind it, because they really needed a good program to be able to say, okay, we're going to do this double blind. We're going to make sure that there's no interference. We want to make sure that the data that we're giving through these remote viewings is accurate, that it's useful. And so he got a lot of stuff